Wee. All right. So, make sure this is Wi-Fi in it, which looks good. Looks good. So, yeah, we're going to be starting to put new videos out. That just coming back from like a month and a half of unbelievable craziness. Well, I don't know. We all had COVID and we got really sick. And then about 2.5 weeks ago, I was taking my kids to go get a bike. And on the way home, we had a blowout on the highway. And while we were waiting for AAA, somebody hit us at about 70 miles an hour. Everybody's okay. It was very intense. It was very, very intense. And, my kids were in the car. It was outrageous. It was pouring rain. They were freaking out. I mean, we were all like, just trapped in the car, right? And then, had to get a new car, insurance, and it was very, very intense. I'll tell you that right now. I'm better now driving, but for the first week or two, I felt so strange driving, and I don't know, I just was nervous, and the kids are like, hey, we want to go over to our friend's house, and I'm like, no, don't, I don't know. You start thinking about mortality and your own mortality, your kid's mortality is just, ugh. But I'm feeling better. And then like a few days after that, we thought the dog, Bo, was dying. He was struggling to breathe. He was trembling. He was freaking out, coughing. And we finally got him, we got him to the emergency room, the vet, whatever. And he has pneumonia, and he's getting better. He's been on medication for 2 weeks now. And my wife had a blowout in her truck like 2 days ago. So I've been driving around. We're trying to get a tire. There's like everything's out of stock. I mean, so this has been the last 6 weeks. And, yeah, so, but it's been, obviously these types of things are character building. And also, I don't know, when you start feeling physically better and, things calm down, you're like super grateful. I can become very complacent or very kind of like, I don't know. It's definitely been an experience. I don't think I'm looking in the camera. I think the camera's here. Should I be looking that way? Oh, okay. All right. I never know how to do this, but anyway, as far as the studio, I've been doing a lot of revamping. I sold a bunch of stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought stuff and returned it. But over the last 6 months, there's been times where I felt like, I don't know, like the vocal sound was just not what I wanted. So I got another 87, which I really like, and I got a Perlman 47, which I really like. And I also got a Neumann U67 reissue, which I don't know. A part of me liked it, and a part of me, there was something about the sound of it was just strange to my ear, maybe. And there was like I don't know, man. I didn't like it, and I ended up returning that. And then I ended up buying back another pair of, here, I'll flip. Oh, I can't flip this. We'll go to another video now. Okay, there you go. Nice segue. So I got, so I've got the 500 series, and I had a pair of Neves 1073s, and honestly, they weren't that hot. And I started to think about, like, is the 500 series power just not quite right for the Neve thing? The Vintex are cool, but, and I remember years ago, I'm friends with Avitas, and he was talking about, like, the challenge of getting, like, the power right, because, I don't know, like, it's a different thing. Anyway, needless to say, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to get another Brent Averill. I've had one of these for like 15 years, and I sold it last year. I don't know. I don't know why. I just sold it, but I was trying to make everything work here with this. Anyway, got this, plugged it in. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Man, with its own power, like I would never do 500 series Neves ever again. I don't care. I'm just not going to do it. So we got that, and we have the APIs, and then I have an LA 610, which is really nice. And so I've got a few flavors, and I've got basically three main vocal mics, which would be the 87, the Perlman 47, and an SM7. So this has a lot of variety. I mean, yeah, if you sing good, it's going to sound good. And then over here, the other thing I did was this 8200 here is on my mix, so it's a part of my mix rig, my mix template. And I've got presets of EQing that I use when I'm mixing. So I don't use this thing. I don't know. I just didn't. Finally, I'm like, I'm just going to mark it up and just start using it. Because I was thinking, like, I was looking at the 1084, which is the BAE Neve with the EQ. And, I'm like, what? I don't need that. I've got this here. I don't really ever totally dig Neve EQs anyway. So I can use this for just a little bit of sweetening. I wouldn't go crazy when tracking, and use it on guitars and bass. And then I've got a pair of distressors, and then I got this huge open space, which I've got coming in a Tube Tech CL1B. And, I would say well over half of what I make now is pop. And I just want it. I don't know. I've owned a couple CL1Bs over my life, and I don't know. We're going to take a shot anyway. It's going to be here Monday. So that's what we're going to start out next week. We're going to go through all the different combinations. I'm going to try to get a couple of different singers in here over the week. Some male, some female, some pop, some rock, some country. And we'll start running all these different combinations, the 87, the 47, with the Neve, the API, using distressors, using 1176, or not CL1B, and then also using the GML EQ. And then also just straight, I really like this setup with the 87 for rock. I think it just sounds great. So that's where we're at. Yeah, so here's a couple of, so you can hear, here's the API with the 87. All right, so this, and I was just coming through the phone. The videos coming up will be proper videos with, screen capture, and you'll have full bandwidth audio. Right now it's just this. All right, so this is now the 87 with the API. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today, and I turn around. And it sounds really nice. But here is the BAE. It's too loud. Maybe like that. Here's the BAE. All right, that's take two. Whoa. This is 87 into first Brent Averill at 300 ohms. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today. And that's like euphoric bigness. It's a little gacky because there's no pop filter. I was just holding the mic in my hand right here. All right, this is second Brent Averill with the U87. Yeah, you can hear all the plosives, but imagine they wouldn't be there. All right, this is second Brent Averill with the U87, no wind popper. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today, and man, that is money. And then back to the API. Well, I climb mountains just to be... It's so funny, like, no matter where I set the API, it just doesn't sound as loud, even when it's physically louder. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today. It's just much more neutral. I don't know what it is, but here's the API. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today. And then here is the Brent Averill, or BAE. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today. That's just crazy. So that's going to be what we're going to do over the next... Well, next week I'm just going to go through it all, get it organized, shoot some videos, and start working on my own music. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, I was really pumped up for that about 2 months ago, and then we got sick, and I mean, I was in bed for almost probably 2 weeks. We were on lockdown for like 8 days. Everyone was sick. I was the most sick. My wife was really sick too. The kids were sick, but only for a few days. And then, you know, obviously after that, there's a bunch of stuff went on, accidents and dogs sick. And in the middle of it, we gutted and redid our bathroom, our one bathroom in the house. So the house was like a construction site for like 2 weeks, and it took like literally a week longer than they thought. But it was because as they started to dismantle, or, you know, whatever, as they started to take apart the bathroom, they realized, oh, this is not good. This is broken. And I said, let's just everything new, make it nice. And it is awesome. We also put a new sink in the kitchen, which is awesome. But anyway, there it is. So this is going to have a big blue CL1B right here. And I'm pretty excited. You know, I've used them, and I've owned 2 of them. I think I owned one at my studio in Hollywood, and we owned one at our studio when we had it in, oh no, I had an LA2A in Texas. Yeah, I think I owned 2 of them. I think I owned one in Hollywood and one in, maybe I even had one in Raleigh. But it's amazing, and you can just pound on it, and it just, I don't know, man, it just sounds like the best vocal sound you hear, you know, on the radio. It just sounds like radio vocals. So that's pretty exciting. And there it is, and that's everything. And, you know, so everything's good. Like, we survived a horrid couple of weeks. I wouldn't say horrid. I would just say a part of the experience of life. It's not a wonder. It's just a wonder. There's the Perlman. Really nice. I really like that. Dave did a good job. He put an old vintage tube in there and sent a regular tube. So I've got a replacement. And then, you know, what's funny is that I brought this is a new 87. I brought it to my friend's house, and he's got a like tricked out vintage one, and it sounded great. And he was like, you know, yours just seems like kind of bigger, and I kind of like it. You know, it wasn't, you know, sometimes you think like, oh, the vintage one's going to be like completely perfect, and the AI is going to be just horrible. And it wasn't. And I bought one of those last year, and I didn't care for it. I think I like this one definitely better. It's a little bit more, what do you call it? Like, it doesn't have as much like spike attack. It seems to have the right amount. Because, you know, you hear all these, once you get on like these forums, man, these guys are like, yeah, and any mic built past 1954 is junk or whatever. But then you listen to those old mics and you're like, you know, it's cool, but, you know, we're not making Sinatra records. Vocals are like cleaner, way less low end. You know, you don't need all that musty in the vocal. It's not there. So, yeah. Anyway, but you'll get to make your own decision because we're going to start uploading. Anyway, oh, and we use this. This is the Category 5 Brad Paisley amp that I got, you know, when we were redoing the whole guitar rig. And I play it a lot, but I hadn't used it a lot. And we used the matchless side. It was awesome, man. And then we doubled it with the Marshall. It was great. I was, you know, sometimes you buy stuff and you're like, oh, should I have done this? Do I even like this? Is this cool? You know, but you know, things are worth it if it matters, right? So yeah, so here you go. So here's that 87. Here's that 87 again with the Brent Averill, or no, with the BAE. Where is it? No wind popper. No wind. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today, and I turn around and That's just great, and that's just nothing. No compression. This is the LA610 tapping the compression with the 87. All right, so this is the 87 through the LA610. little bit less compression. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today, and I turn around. I just love the way that sounds. And obviously it doesn't have, like, the BAE has all the plosives because there's no wind popper. But yeah, here's that 87 into the LA 610. Well, I climb mountains just to be here today, and I turn around and I do it again. Man, that's just, wow, I love that. So anyway, that's what's happening. We are definitely alive. What a, whoa. Yeah. But you know, it makes you appreciate the things you have, and you know, just grateful my kids are okay. I mean, that was so scary. I saw the guy coming behind me. So we were on the side of the road. We blew out a tire and we pulled over to the side with the hazards on and the lights on. But it was like 8 o'clock at night. It was pitch black. It was pouring rain. And AAA just really kind of dropped the ball, man. It was like 2 hours we were waiting for them, and it was supposed to be 30 minutes, and it ended up being a whole bunch of time. And I looked behind me, and I saw him coming, and I was like, and I just like opened my mouth, like I couldn't even warn my kids. It was just thwam. And luckily, I just before he had hit us, the kids were being a little crazy, and I was like, everybody just sit down. And I made sure everybody had their seatbelts on, because I think that maybe one of the kids took his seatbelt off for a minute. So everybody had their seatbelts on, and the bike that we went up there to buy survived. There was just one little piece of metal was bent, and I just bent it right back. And that's the good news. You know, Riker's learning how to ride a bike now, and we're playing baseball, and we're getting out there. So anyway, that is all she wrote. Videos are coming, and there'll be, you know, again, there'll be screen capture with Pro Tools, so the sound will be good. And yeah, there's nobody here to say like and subscribe. I'll go through the gaping hole. Like and subscribe.